What's good, everyone? It is Tony the Savant. Hope you're having a good to great day. And before we get started, if y'all don't mind, please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel as well. Just leave your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section, as I'm always interested and intrigued with what you all have to say about the topics we discuss. Um, that's it. Let's get on to the work. As I am doing a breakdown of the first, I would say I'm gonna do the first 10 picks. We'll see how the series goes, and I'll continue on out from there. But I want to start doing more series-oriented material content. Excuse me, just because I like to kind of stay on one topic for a little while. I covered 3 sports, but like I said, I'll be jumping around a little bit too much. So I'm gonna start dropping some series for y'all so we can keep some continuity in one particular sport. So with the NBA draft recently passing, I said this would be a pretty good time to kind of explore this venture I've been wanting to do. And so, nonetheless, let's start with the NBA draft. I'm gonna start with the number 1 pick of the Atlanta Hawks, Zaccaharie Risacher. Risacher. I think I may be butchering his name. Excuse me. Frenchman, young man, 18 or 19 years old, very young. Uh, Elite scorer. I wouldn't say elite, just yet. Great scorer, for sure. Great shooter. Has a natural off-ball uh, uh, game about him. Doesn't necessarily need to be on ball to be effective. My one concern about Zaccaharie, which I'll just keep it there. My one concern about him is that he kind of falls into the typical Euro player prototype as far as being a adept on one side of the basketball and not so much effective on the other side of the basketball, as defense is a glaring weakness for this young man. I attribute that a little bit more to weakness, him not having his grown man physique, his grown man strength, as some would say, as of yet. But to be frank, I think this young man does have a high potential as far as being a scorer and being a elite option as a big in the NBA. Well, he's not really even a big; he's more so like a tweener. That small forward, power forward. Really, you can go from shooting guard to power forward position as far as the tweener goes, because he's 6'9". I believe he has like a 7'1" wingspan. I believe. Kind of got some nice footwork. I would say that much about him. He has some decent footwork. Again, he's very adept in moving around off the ball and doing what he has to do. Agility is there. Again, a Euro player, typical Euro player, and I don't want to sound, like I'm talking down on him when I say that, but it's just kind of like that typical Euro player prototype. It kind of reminds me a little bit of my Chicago Bulls Tony Kukoc, a little bit more, a younger, uh, faster version of Tony Kukoc, if you will. But just that kind of Euro player type, where he's very good on offense, okay on defense, and you want to kind of see how his career plays out. Give him some time before you want to ultimately, give your final analysis of him. But so far, so good. Was he worthy of a number 1 pick? I mean, me personally, I probably myself would have went with Alex Sarr, the number 2 option, who we'll discuss in the next video on this series. But of course, there was rumors out there that Alex Sarr did not want to play for the Atlanta Hawks. Understandably, the Atlanta Hawks have a lot of, decisions to make. It's a lot of moving pieces over there. They just recently traded DeJounte Murray to the New Orleans Pelicans. We'll be discussing that in another video as well. But I feel like Atlanta with Trae Young, that situation, there's a lot of uncertainty on the future. Will they continue to rock with Trae Young, or will they build around this young man as the number 1 pick? Potentially, could be a franchise piece for him. We'll see. There's also the position that he's playing. A bit of a conundrum there because there's a guy there that's kind of established already in DeAndre Hunter. DeAndre, hasn't really been the best performer. I believe that last season he averaged 16 points a game, um, and for a career he's about a 14 point a game scorer. So not horrible, but I definitely feel like the Atlanta Hawks feel like they can get a little bit more out of that position, a little bit more from this young man, Zacchaharie, as well. I would love to see if it can possibly happen. DeAndre Hunter come off the bench. As I was looking at uh, uh, his numbers, I was also looking at some game tape on him. DeAndre Hunter isn't the worst basketball player you ever seen. It's just that for what the Atlanta Hawks needs, he doesn't really produce enough. Now you can attribute that to a lot of stuff. There's of course another gumbo of moving pieces in that situation as far as what DeAndre Hunter could be and all that kind of stuff. But as of what he is in the Atlanta Hawks system, I would, if I had to put my final grade on it, is replaceable. And so um, maybe the Atlanta Hawks are looking to do that with this young man. Maybe, I also said we got to consider that the Atlanta Hawks uh, could use this young man as trade bait, let him showcase his talent and trade him off a little bit later, kind of like the Clippers did, a la SGA, his rookie year. So once again, it's a lot of moving pieces. I'll say this much though: I do like this young man on paper. Just what the NBA scouts say about him, what I've seen from him on the game tape. I do like him. One disadvantage I will say is that I wasn't able to catch a lot of full game tape. Had to go off highlights. The difference, the reason why I like full game tape versus highlights is that in full game you can see the inner situations, the transition, defense. You can see a consistent, um, some consistent tape on footwork, not just the highlights. When they showing him make a move or whatever. I wanted to see, if he was really that bad on defense because not a lot of people were raving about his defense. So I just wanted to really see how good or bad he was on defense. But a disadvantage of these Euro players, of these overseas guys, is that we don't get to see much game tape of them. Of course, there's the NBA TV. They showcase some games, but we're talking about you don't really get to see these dudes and what they about until they play a full 82 game season in the NBA. And by that time, the draft has passed. We've already kind of, speculated. And, at that point, it's either you make it or you're a bust. But I just don't really know too much about this kid to be very comfortable in saying that the next 5-10 years he'll actually be something of note. He could flame out. We've seen a lot of Euro players flame out. We've seen a lot of players. I don't want to just harp on the Euro players too much, but we've seen a lot of guys flame out. We've seen a lot of guys come over with hype. We've seen a number of number one picks flame out. Another fun fact: Zacchaharie is the fourth international player in NBA history to go number one, sharing that spot with Yao Ming, one of my favorite players of all time, and Bargnani as well. And there was another gentleman. I believe it was Wembanyama last year as well. So very, exclusive company. And out of that company, Mariani wasn't a bum. He ended up being a serviceable role player. So if you fall in one of those categories as far as being an established superstar like Yao, a budding superstar like Wembanyama, or a serviceable role player like Bargnani, then this could work out for Zacchaharie. This could be a good thing for him. Honestly, I got high hopes for the kid. Again, off going off what I've seen and what I've been able to personally scout from him. How will he fit with Trae Young is always going to be interesting. But again, we don't know what Trae Young, what's going to happen with Trae Young. I got a video coming about Trae Young. I'm proud of him actually, and Trae Young is actually one of my favorite players right now. It's just kind of hard to put him amongst the upper echelon of my favorite players because he's in such an abysmal situation in Atlanta. And sometimes Trey do it to himself, man. Sometimes I've watched games with Trey Young that's just flamed out, and it is what it is, and that no. But he's one of my favorite players, and so I'm interested to see how Atlanta continues to build around him. Will they move him? And start working around Zaccaharie? Will the future is bright. The future is up in the air for the Atlanta Hawks right now. But that's all I got for y'all on this one. Please, once again, subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video. Leave your thoughts and comments. Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment sections, as I'm always interested and intrigued with what y'all got to say about these topics. That's all I got for y'all on this one. It is Tony the Savant. Peace.